Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Benchwarmer Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Raffi, as always, joined by Theodore and Davian. Boys, I've played too much franchise mode in NHL 23, so I've officially joined Brentford, and I'm playing FIFA 22. My career as a manager is off to a great start. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's part of the fun. Might I be paying too much for some transfer players? Maybe. I don't know. That's the fun in it. So hopefully we don't get relegated, and hopefully I don't get canned after the first year. But boys, how are you guys?
The concept, the concept of getting canned, like just using that as a term, is hilarious to me. Like, just be a normal person, say fired. The fact that British people out here are saying, "Oh, he's about to get canned," like that pisses me off.
British. Hopefully they don't throw some scones at me.
I'm so glad we won our independence. I would hate to do it.
You are not a big tea guy, confirmed.
No, I love tea, and that's the weird part. I love
tea every night before bed. You got
every morning.
And you call yourself a Patriots fan, Davian. You call yourself a Patriots fan. Ooh.
Well, I always throw the tea overboard, like, of course. Whenever I'm on the ship, I always throw tea back out,
Davian, how are you, though?
I'm doing great. I mean, I think a lot of people are forgetting that the Champions League finals this weekend. Man City's playing Inter Milan.
Yeah, I saw it's in Turkey.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the hype is there's not much hype behind this.
You just host in Armenia, guys. If you guys really want to, you might as well. You guys are in the area. You might as well just do that. But that's where we're not going to get into the politics of all this.
Yeah. But beyond that, I'm just gonna make my quick pick. I think that Man City, Holland leads the team to win, and Man City's crowned the champions of Europe. But yeah, beyond that, I'm doing good. I'm very happy that the Joker is, being the Joker, and Jokic is dominating, and Michael Don't Pass Porter Jr. is, doing great as well for the team. They're currently down, I think 10-2 in game 2.
Yep.
So
so the series is over basically.
But
the Heat are gonna win it all.
Okay, well they're still down.
I know.
They're still down a game, and it's in the first quarter. But yeah, okay. Either way, yeah, and then NHL. I mean, it so far has been an exciting series. We have a game 2 tomorrow night, so yeah, it should be fun.
What were some of the takeaways that you guys had? I don't know if you guys watched game 1 of the Heat Nuggets series too intensely. I didn't. Theodore, I'm glad you did, because now one of us watched that game. Theodore, what were your takeaways from the game? Because the Nuggets won by 11 points, and I don't think normally when I've seen an 11-point gap, that's large enough where it looks like a team was just better than another team, rather than like a 2-3-point game where you say, okay, it probably went down to the wire. Okay, maybe this team came back a little bit. You look at some of the statistics. Theodore, what were your takeaways from game 1?
Okay, so full disclosure, I missed the first half because I was out playing pickleball, and it was a very intense game of pickleball, and it ran late. So I missed the game.
Bro was actually playing pickleball, though.
Did you win that game, though?
Yeah.
No, I lost.
Now that's
that's disappointing.
I skipped the NBA finals to lose a game of pickleball. Yeah, so now.
Yeah, that's.
But the game was very entertaining. I mean, I had fun watching it. It was a nice. And these whole NBA finals are a nice breath of fresh air. I mean, we had it with the Bucks Suns series a couple years ago too, where these are two series with teams that just feel like you want to see them win. Like, it's cool having the villains in like the Warriors and LeBron James and all that, but I just think it's really cool that this Nuggets Heat series is happening, and I think Game 1 really sets up for something big, or something big series-wise. I think this could go 6 or 7. I'll let you guys talk a little more, and then I have a couple true analytical things to get into, because there's a lot of fun matchup stuff to break down here.
Davian, to fulfill our quota and to surpass ESPN by far, say a good thing about the Nuggets so far.
They're just, okay, like Jokic had a triple-double in the first game, all right? I mean, that kind of just goes to show how dominant of a player he is. Jimmy Butler played terrible. All right. I didn't watch the game, sadly, but I don't know if that was due to the Nuggets defense or that he just not being accustomed to the Denver altitude. I think that's something, look, whenever we talk about Denver, I'm always one to talk about geography. Look, Denver's, it's the mile high city at the end of the day in multiple ways. And so like the geography of how the Heat are like below sea level and then going all the way up to Denver to play in such a short time span. They weren't really able to adjust to the climate. Right now they're up leading in the game. They had more, maybe that's part of it, that they're able to more get accustomed to the air there. But, I think at the end of the day that the Nuggets are a better team. I think that the Heat might be able to, get a game or two out of here. And we'll have a game. I think it goes to game 6. I think this game goes to game 6. And if not, I think the Heat win in game 7.
See, the part I agree with you about the part, as I say the part a billion times. Congratulations. Let's just ding a bell every single time I say that. But getting to my point, altitude makes sense, but game 5 and game 7, those are going straight from Miami, and then you have like 2 days off where you can kind of get acclimated to it. I don't know if this was a direct impact, but I think you can look at last year's Stanley Cup final as another example of Tampa Bay, Florida, a very low area, going up to high altitude in Colorado. Colorado won that series in 6 games.
Yeah.
Did the altitude have a large effect?
Probably not.
No one really talked about it too much, and you're never going to have a hockey player give an excuse like, oh, the altitude threw us off. You're never going to get something like that.
Yeah.
I believe Patrick Maroon did mention something like that on the Pat McAfee show last year at some point, where he's talking about the altitude and how that was kind of difficult. So that's definitely a fair point, but you'd have to imagine game 5 and game 7, if the series goes 7 and goes 5, the Heat aren't going to have the luxury of having a couple extra days to get back into the Denver altitude. They're going to go from Miami right up to Denver. They'll have maybe a day or two to warm up, get ready, try to get back to the air quality, get back to the altitude. But it could be, unfortunately, too quick of a turnaround for them, and they might wind up losing those important games because of the altitude. Theodore, drop some stats.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk stats. Miami played a horrible basketball game. It was just atrocious. And the fact that it was still just an 11-point game is insanely impressive. And honestly, I feel better about the Heat after this game 1 than I did going into the series.
You sound like, are you going to join ESPN? Because you'd be a perfect case. I think the Nuggets played a good game, but I think we really need to continue.
Yeah. Okay, hear me out though.
I trust you to have actual stats to back.
Exactly. We're not pushing any narratives here. CJ Martin, Max Struss, Duncan Robinson. 3 of the biggest pieces on this Heat team. I mean, they ignite sparks on this Miami squad. And they were all atrocious. Yeah. They shot, I'm doing the math right now, 2 for 23. 2 for 23 combined. Jimmy Butler was bad. I mean, he was so bad, he wasn't even really having an impact away from scoring. He was basically just a complete afterthought on this team. Yeah. And first of all, credit to Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon absolutely clamped him. Aaron Gordon is an incredible defender, and he is going to get his respect for this, He's a guy who everyone just thought, oh, this is a guy who does some cool dunks, but never actually wins the dunk contest. That's all anyone viewed him as.
Yeah.
And now he's being a legitimate piece on a team that's still probably going to win the championship. Now, why might they not win a championship? 2 reasons. And the reasons all tie together. It's the Miami bigs. I don't think anyone on this Nuggets team can stop or even really slow down Bam Adebayo defensively. I mean, we saw what he did at times against Boston, but Boston found a way to shut him down. I don't know if the Nuggets have that ability. Now, the other thing, and this is another Miami big, let's talk about Haywood Highsmith. Now, you're probably asking, who is Haywood Highsmith, unless you've really been watched in these playoffs.
Definitely made up that name.
This man played college in Wheeling, West Virginia. He's 26 years old. He has never had a significant role on an NBA team. But at the end of game 1, they put him in to guard Nikola Jokic. And Jokic was a completely different player when guarded by Haywood Highsmith. Bam Adebayo is a great defender for whatever reason. I don't think Bam can stop Jokic. What I saw with Haywood Highsmith guarding Nikola Jokic was insane. And I don't know if he can do it the whole series. I don't know if we're talking like JJ Barea shutting down LeBron. Like, I don't know if it reaches that level. But if this is something real, if Haywood Highsmith really is the answer, the Nuggets could be in a lot of trouble. Because you know for a fact that Jimmy Butler won't be bad all series. You know for a fact that Max Struss and Gabe Vincent and all the other shooters, Martin and Duncan Robinson, will all have consistent games. Like, they'll all step up at some point. We all know that Tyler Hero's coming back.
Yep.
You've got Kyle Lowry on this team. Like, the Heat are such a deep squad. And if I'm the Nuggets, you know that you're going to need the reason these two teams are so different is the Nuggets legitimately need their star players to perform. The Heat, I think game one proved, do not need their star players to perform, and they can still win games. So I am very, very intrigued. That was a complete rant. I just kept talking there, but I'm very, very intrigued by this series.
I'm happy because you provided some actual analysis to it, which you can see all the time that ESPN and other big media companies, sports media companies, fail to do. Davian, any other thoughts before we shift real quick over to the NHL?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like the one thing that the Heat might have on the Nuggets, I think I mentioned this in last week's podcast, is speed. I think that they're very, very fast-paced a team. We don't know to what Tyler Hero's coming back, but we don't know like how healthy is he actually going to be. Is it going to be like Jimmy Butler in game 2 against the Knicks, where he was just kind of like standing there and just shooting the ball? Or is he going to be like just extremely dynamic, the usual Tyler Hero that we usually see? I think that's a big question. In terms of stopping Jokic, I feel like that I do slightly disagree that I feel like if you stop Jokic, you don't stop the entire Denver Nuggets team because it's such a deep team. They have a lot of depth compared to the Miami Heat, I feel like. Because I feel like the Miami Heat have, some people like Highsmith, people like Strus, people like, Duncan Robinson, who are all very good players, but they're on and off, right? Game 1, they just did not show up to play. I feel like that the Nuggets have consistent players, consistent role players that they could throw into any game and be able to close it out. So that's why I still think that the Nuggets are going to win this series. What I saw from game 1, my analysis is that Jimmy Butler again continues to, we said like he's been getting the nickname of Himmy Butler, and he's been, saying that, he's been going crazy in these past few series. But let's be honest, against the Knicks, closest to the end of the series, the rest of the Heat stepped up to play. Jimmy Butler, not so much. In the last series, I felt like Jimmy wasn't there every single night. So that's why I think against Celtics, that's why I think that the Heat are going to rely on everybody else stepping up, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen consistently for 4 games.
Perfect. Let's move over to the NHL real quick before we get into our second half of the podcast. So the Vegas Golden Knights took down the Florida Panthers at home 5-2 in a game that was very close for the most part. Florida scored a shorthanded goal early in the game. It was very back and forth until an amazing save. I don't know if you guys saw Aiden Hill's save. I mean, he's going to his left. He just barely gets a stick out there, and Nick Cousins, blank net, shoot it anywhere you want except for this tight end he hit. And Aiden Hill makes an incredible save, hanging in the lure. It's a beautiful image of Aiden Hill with that stick out save. And then Pietrangelo comes in on the next attempt by Nick Cousins, clears the puck out. Amazing play by the Vegas Golden Knights there. Just absolutely changed the momentum of that game. Vegas scores 3 goals in the third to put themselves up 1-0. This is the first loss for the Florida Panthers, I believe, in like 8 games. I think they won 8 games in a row before losing this game on the road. Guys, any takeaways? Because I thought that Florida, obviously, is going to be sticking around, but it also looks like Vegas knows, which Boston didn't, that in order to beat Bobrovsky, you need to take away his eyes. You need to be in front of him. You need to be moving around, creating those screens, creating those moving screens, so then you can send shots from Shea Theodore, Zach Whitecloud, etc. on net. And if Bobrovsky cannot see it, he might be able to still save it, but there's a lower chance that he's able to save it rather than some of the chances some of the other teams like the Hurricanes, Bruins, and Leafs were letting on him, where he could see exactly what was going on in front of him.
Okay, so again, full disclosure, I went to play pickleball again yesterday. And
Did you
again,
win this one?
No, I lost again. I
Oh
suck
my
at pickleball.
Theodore!
I'm so bad at pickleball, and I want to be good, but I'm not, and it sucks. But yeah, I missed the first period, so I got there for the second period, and I started watching the game, and it was very, very entertaining. And I have to talk about the series real quick because last week I made the pick of the Florida Panthers win the Cup. And I hate to say that, I did some more research, and I completely changed my mind. And what I saw in game one only reinforces this. The Knights are prepared. I talked about how the Panthers have done such a good job of beating teams that are clearly more talented than them. The Knights aren't falling into those same traps the other teams did. The other thing, the NHL completely screwed the Panthers over by giving so many off days. Because when you're a team running on momentum like the Panthers are, you need to keep playing. So first of all, the NHL absolutely messed up, and there should not have been this long of a break going into the season.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off there because the only reason why there was that large of a gap in between for the Florida Panthers was because the Vegas series kept happening. If Vegas had won games 4 or game 5, the Stanley Cup Finals would have started on Monday or Tuesday. It would have started on Wednesday instead of Saturday. So instead, you had an extra 3 days that got added. So I agree with your point. Your point is fair that I'd rather have 4 days off than 9 days off because 9 days is a lot. You have to get back into it. But I just want to fully disclose that as well.
Yeah,
so
I thought it was a thing where the NHL just built in a bunch of off days or something. Still, I mean, so in that case, no one got screwed over. It's just that, the momentum has died out. It's sad, but this feels like a different Panthers team. A Panthers team that's still solid by all means, but also a Panthers team that will lose to the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games.
Before I throw it over to Davian, I just want to mention this too. Vegas started the game and they were getting battered by Florida. They were hemmed into their defensive zone. They didn't look too good. But the one line that really stood out to me and really put an emphasis on what it takes to have a Stanley Cup winning roster is the fourth line of the Vegas Golden Knights of Will Carrier, one of the 6 remaining players from the Golden Misfits of players who got taken at the expansion draft. Nicholas Waugh, who I love as a defensive centerman. He is so good in that bottom 6 role for Vegas. And Keegan Colasar, another guy that if the Vegas Golden Knights for some reason want to trade him, if I'm the Blackhawks, I'm like, I will take him off your hands for a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick, 3rd-round pick. He's a perfect bottom 6 guy with the potential to score a couple of goals. Same with Nicholas Waugh. And this 4th line really got things going. I think they had an amazing shift at like the 13, 14-minute mark of the game where Vegas wasn't getting too much going yet. They hadn't really peppered Bobrovsky with any shots, any chances on net. They, I believe, went 13 minutes without a shot on goal. But that 4th line was rolling. They were physical. They were constantly creating offense for Vegas. And then once the rest of the lineup got their feet going, it was Vegas with a lot of the momentum after going down 1-0 on that shorthanded goal. So I do want to mention that because a very underrated thing and something that I'm constantly on the lookout is, do you have 4 forward lines that you can roll out constantly and they can have a positive impact on the game? And the 4th line of Vegas really stood out to me and a lot of people in game 1 because they were very big in getting the momentum back on their side. And also the bottom pair too of Nick Hague and Zach Whitecloud. Whitecloud with one of the goals in the game. Nick Hague also, he's 6'5", 6'6", an absolutely massive unit. Very physical play. Again, Whitecloud with the goal. The bottom pair and bottom 6 is performing for Vegas. And when you have that going for you and you're rolling those lines so well, it's going to be really tough for Florida to keep up with their lineup.
Yeah, so again, I did not watch this game. The one thing I will say...
Were you losing in pickleball too?
I was not losing in pickleball. I was actually down the shore. Actually...
We're going to have to start doing some training sessions.
Yeah, well, quick side story. I was actually night swimming, and I got this random group of people. I went to this random group of people and asked, like, would they want to go swimming with me? This one person agreed, said, like, yeah, sure, why not? Ran into the water, fully clothed, and lost their phone. So that's
You asked a bunch of random strangers to go night swimming with you.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So either way, that's why I did not watch
Davian, stranger danger, buddy. My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, they lost their phone. Sad story, but it's okay. I still enjoy the water. Okay. So what did I see from the Vegas game? I just saw the stats, and the stats are simple. The Panthers went 0 for 3 in the power play, and I think that just goes to show that Vegas is great defensively. And as they said in the press conference and a press conference after the game, they felt ready for the Panthers. And I feel like that the Panthers need to figure out a way to change their play, because one thing I've seen in the NHL, especially in the playoffs, is that if you're not adapting to your opponent, you are going to continue to lose. That's what happens to the Rangers against the Devils, I felt like. And so really, I think that, Vegas, I feel like just keep doing what they're doing. I think that still, like, they won the game, but they could have played still a bit better, especially offensively. I think for the Panthers, it's just they just need to be better all around. I'm excited to see what happens in game 2. I think that if the Panthers are able to win this one, I think this is going to be a very long series. If not, then I see why I could see why Theodore might be right with his prediction.
One final thing as well. One final comment as well in the Vegas series. I mean, Vegas is just clicking. And I do want to mention this because I'm seeing Matthew Tkachuk. When I'm watching him play, I'm seeing a lot of Brad Marchand at a younger age. Now, Matthew Tkachuk is playing and putting up a lot more points than Brad Marchand was when he was younger. Brad Marchand, for people who don't know, it took him like 7 years for him to crack 70, 80 points. He was a consistent 50, 60-point player, a solid guy in the top 6, but he hadn't quite reached that level that he's at right now. Matthew Tkachuk, this is, I believe, the second time where he's gotten kicked out late in the game for his antics. And I just want to say that I like his game. Love that he's American. He's the perfect embodiment of who you want and what you want in a power forward on your top line. Perfect playoff player. Love the guy. But he needs to take it down a notch. He needs to find that line. Brad Marchand went over that line numerous times and found himself to be suspended on countless occasions in his young career because he didn't know where the line is. If Matthew Tkachuk can take some time and find that line where he's really getting under the opponent's skin, but he's not forfeiting himself to the game. The Florida Panthers cannot go 5 minutes without Matthew Tkachuk. You can't be losing him for 5 minutes. He's one of their best players, and when he's out for 5 minutes, that puts Vegas at a huge advantage, regardless of who goes off the ice for Vegas, if there's a fight or et cetera. So if I'm Matthew Tkachuk or if I'm talking to Matthew Tkachuk, I love your antics, but you got to take it down a notch. You got to find that line because you cannot be hurting your team. Because when he went off the ice with 4:30 left, even though it was a 2-goal game, it felt like the game was over because who's going to score the goals for Florida? Who's going to be generating the offense? Who's going to get the team going? So Matthew Tkachuk, love the game. Just find that line, and if he can find that line, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop him in the future. Moving on, before we close the show, a quick fun segment that we're going to do. We're going to roll through, pardon me, and that is very, very early predictions of who we think is going to win each NFL division. Some of these I feel like are a bit more obvious, so we'll roll through those, but some of them I feel like could be up for discussion for a little bit, so we'll close on that. We'll start with the AFC East. I think it's pretty clear that's going to be the Bills. Davian, I'm sorry, but Mac Jones. Theodore?
The New England, no, not the Patriots. I got a little carried away. The Miami Dolphins will win the AFC East. Look,
okay, but how are they going to be better than the Bills?
The Bills are overrated. I've been saying it for so long. Josh Allen is not that good.
Okay.
But not that well coached.
The Dolphins aren't good either.
The Dolphins are great. All the Dolphins.
I would rather have Daniel Jones instead of Josh Allen. That's what Theodore definitely said.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Unironically. No. The fact of the matter is that if Tua can stay healthy, yes, that's a big if. If he can stay healthy, with the addition of Jalen Ramsey, with Tyreek Hill playing at an insane level, with Jalen Waddle, with a very, very good O-line and an improved running game, the sky's the limit for the Miami Dolphins. I can really easily see them as like that team that jumps off to like an 8-0 start, finishes with 14 or 15 wins.
I want to say that if the Patriots sign DeAndre Hopkins, they will win the AFC East.
No. Moving on to the AFC North.
No, cut him off. Don't let him continue. Go.
Moving on to the AFC North, Davian, I'm sorry, but it's a bad take. Even if they have DeAndre Hopkins, no. Respectfully, no. Moving on to the AFC North, Bengals. I know Theodore's not picking the Ravens.
No,
Know that for a fact.
Ravens.
No.
Yeah.
Bengals.
Yes,
No.
the team has gone
Bengals.
all around better.
The kitty
And
will
if
go
Lamar
meow.
Jackson stays healthy, I seriously think that they win the AFC North.
Joe
We'll get
Shiesty.
into further discussion in the coming months. AFC South.
Oh,
Who
this is
cares?
like I mean, it's the Jaguars,
Jaguars.
right?
Yeah,
mean-
the Jaguars.
Anybody else? I mean, like maybe the Texans have like, but it's like rookie
No.
QB, rookie running back. Like I don't know. I don't see them winning that division. I mean, Colts are like also.
The Texans could be the second best team in that division. I wouldn't be shocked by that, but it's got to be the Jaguars division. It's their division to lose.
I mean, honestly,
I
you could make an argument for the Texans though.
I said this last show. I think the Titans will be a little better than everyone's giving them credit for. They're not going to be absolutely atrocious yet.
No,
I
they
mean,
will.
at
I
best,
just
they're a
don't
7-win team.
Yeah, I see Jacksonville's the best team here by a mile.
Moving on, AFC West. This is something where I'm intrigued to hear your guys' opinion.
No,
I think it's the
No,
Chiefs.
come on, it's clear. It's the Chiefs. Come on.
Oh, I
Broncos
thought we'd have a
country?
Chargers person. I thought we'd have a Chargers person.
No,
I can
we
talk about
don't.
how the
No,
city's
because
cursed.
I'm
I
sorry,
can
the
talk about their
Chargers
curse.
have not shown up.
Yeah.
No, it's Casey.
Oh.
They've
I
continued to
liked
make
it
the
when
team
you guys had
better.
hope.
And
I was on the Chargers train last year, and then they blew a 27-point lead to repay my trust. So yeah,
I know. I
Fuck
really
the
liked that because it proved that the Chargers were cursed. Let's move over to the NFC East.
Giants,
I wonder.
easy,
No, not easy. Yeah, it is easy. Eagles.
easy.
Eagles.
Fuck Philly. Jalen Hurts is overrated. The Cowboys suck. The commies aren't going to do shit. I mean, we are the team to beat in the
No,
NFC.
you're not. You're
This
by
video
far
is
not the
already
team to
not
beat.
going to be put. This video is already going to be played.
I'm sorry,
not
but
made
Philly
for
got
kids,
so
but now
much
that-
better in the past like couple months. And I feel like
Philly
yeah,
lost
the
a lot of
Giants
games
might
on
have gotten
defense,
like better role players, like better depth, better like
We got Darren Waller. We have
okay,
Darren
you got
Waller.
Darren Waller, but look at the Eagles, man.
What have the Eagles done?
They like got
They
like
had
a
a really good
starting
draft.
running back for once.
Who
They had a
cares?
they had a really good draft.
Yeah, and they had
The
a
Giants had an
insanely
incredible
good
draft. We got Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee, and yeah, I'm supposed to be a Bama fan now, but he's a beast. He is what Kenny Galladay was supposed to be. We got Paris Campbell. There's a solid receiver. We finally have a receiving core.
Wait, guys.
Paris
You just
Campbell
called
does
Paris
not move
Campbell
the
a
needle.
solid receiver.
He's a solid receiver.
He
He's
is
got potential. He's
No,
got
he's
He's
not.
a fourth, fifth wide receiver.
Yeah, well, guess what? We need that depth on our team because our players always go down. Isaiah Hodgins is him.
That is
He's a beast. Saquon's got to be insane as long as he doesn't hold out, which he better not
I
hold
hear a
out.
lot of ifs. Like if this
There
doesn't-
aren't that
if
many
this
ifs, though,
doesn't-
because we
If
have
it's
an
an
elite
if, it's a
defense
no.
right now. We have an elite defense.
If, it's
We
a-
have an elite tight end. We have an elite quarterback, and that's all that matters.
and
Are
yeah,
you ready to hear
Philadelphia,
this
which
nonsense
has
for the next few
everything.
months?
Hurts is so overrated. The man's a glorified
Eagles,
running back.
I have the Eagles. Moving on to the NFC North, we'll talk about this more. Lions, make it happen. They could be a huge disappointment. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm just gonna say the Lions. I just want to see the Lions
because
win
they
the division.
They didn't really do anything. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like your
picked up
starting QB is
Gibbs.
still Jared Goff, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they were,
That's not
one win
exactly
still
away.
Jared
They
Goff.
were a
Okay.
tiebreaker away from making the playoffs last year, and they got
Okay,
better.
but they weren't a tiebreaker away from winning the division.
Mm-hmm. The Vikings are a really, really good team, Ralph.
Vikings are a really good team, but I'm saying the Bears.
I think the Vikings are gonna fall
No,
off.
'cause I seriously think Justin
Yeah.
Fields has his number one wide receiver now. The team overall has gotten better. I think they did a very smart trade in the draft. I think it's the Bears.
I'm not ready to get on the Fields hype train yet. I can see the Bears being
Same here.
decent, but
I'm
think
on
Minnesota-
that hype train. I'm on that hype train.
Minnesota's the team to beat here.
Well, this is fun. We'll see if anything changes in the next few months when we do our official prediction.
Yeah.
NFC
Yeah.
South.
Yeah.
NFC South. Come on. Give it to me. Come, please. Please.
No, the Bucks.
Please.
The Bucks.
With
I
Baker, no.
No, because I seriously
No.
look.
I can't
Everyone's
do that.
hating on Baker. I like the way he played at the end of the season for the Rams.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think
He
he
played
could
well.
actually
I
played well.
agree with that. But the team is just a bunch of old players who are about to retire.
But no, but they're getting new players because like they already released all those old players. Like all the players that were part of that winning of that championship squad are basically gone. Like Gronk,
This
Brady,
is a big if.
all like the
because we're playing
defense
with
is gone as well.
If Desmond Ritter is a dog, like I think
He's
he
not
will
a
be because he
dog.
played well,
But he's
then the
not.
Falcons will absolutely win the division. And
He's
I
a
like to see
chihuahua.
That's
at
just
best.
such a big if.
not a
Look,
big
this
deal.
is,
He was
I
really
could
good down the
legitimately
stretch.
see. I could legit see all 4 teams winning this division.
No, I
I-
can't see
could
the
legit
Panthers.
see
I
I
cannot see
all of them
think
going like
TJ
7,
Stroud-
8, and
I
9.
cannot see the Panthers.
CJ Stroud could be good year 1. I think they've got a lot of talent. Really, I mean, I think the winner of this division probably goes like 8 and 9. But if I had to pick right now,
Yeah,
give me the Bucs
absolutely.
with Baker.
Yeah.
Falcons, believe it. NFC West, Niners.
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 Perfect.
Easy.
All right, and on that note,
That was pretty clear consensus.
exactly. On that note, we will wrap the show up. For Theodore, for Davian, I'm Raffi. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Be sure to also follow us on TikTok, Benchwarmer_sports. We are getting more videos up. I promise. Don't worry. It's been a couple days. We've been a little on and off, but we'll be getting more stuff over the next few weeks. So be sure to check out our TikTok. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. And for Theodore, for David, once again, I'm Raffi. We hope you had a great time watching this podcast. Have a great week. Have a good one.
Go Nuggies. Peace.